Hey everybody, Abby here. How are you guys doing today? Hope everybody is warm and healthy. This last weekend we got a ton of snow here. Like, I went to bed Saturday night and it was nothing, and I didn't think we were expecting much. I woke up Sunday morning, it was like several inches of snow outside, and we got more again yesterday. So it's still pretty heavy out there. Yeah, not my fave. Anyway, it was good snowman making snow, that's for sure. Um, it was big and fluffy and the wet, heavy, good packing kind. But any rate, I'm sure you can see the white out my window. Um, yeah, not much of it has gone away. But anyway, today I am bringing you a story that someone sent me about their like for pantyhose. Um, I had this person inquire about it, and I was kind of intrigued about it. I watched a live stream that my friend Nicholas Tannick, who's on the Your Kiki Friends YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, he talks to all kinds of mistresses and goddesses and all that good stuff too. Anyway, I had watched because I was kind of curious, like, what was the big thing about pantyhose? I didn't understand. So we've gotten into a little bit here on our channel, and I had someone send me their story about their whole pantyhose kink, and I'm going to share it with you. It's going to be a two-part story because it is quite lengthy. So yeah, we'll see how it, hope you find it interesting. I did, trying to get a better understanding of it anyway. And today you're not going to see me with, just a heads up, you're not going to see me with my tablet like you normally do, because I can't get it to work today for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'll have to take a look at it. Either way, here we go. Here we go. It is part one, the beginning. From a very early age, I've always enjoyed the feel of pantyhose. I was told by my mom that when I was still crawling, I would touch legs and feet of women in nylon. At the age of 5, I found my mom's pantyhose drawer and would wear them around my parents' bedroom. My mom quickly caught me one time and promised not to tell my dad if I stopped. So I did just that. It wasn't until I was in the 6th grade when my fetish began to take off. Understandable. I was standing in a classroom across from a cute girl that was wearing pantyhose, and she was hiking them up. I just remember not being able to look away. A short time after, I had a midget football game and the weather was cold. My mom offered me a pair of pantyhose to stay warm during the game. I declined, but when I came home, I snuck those same pantyhose and wore them to bed that night. From that night on, I was hooked. Part 2, my teen years. For the most part, I hid my addiction to pantyhose. I had found an old box in the attic with pantyhose and tights that my mom no longer wore. I would hide them under my mattress and wear them to bed. I just remember laying there rubbing my legs together, trying to fall asleep. Teachers and classmates would rarely wear pantyhose. In the early 2000s, not too popular. Yeah, you were born in the wrong decade, buddy. Anyway, sorry. But when they did, it was distracting. I vividly recall a moment in the 8th grade walking through the halls between class, and there was a pair lying on the floor in the middle of the halls. It stopped me dead in my tracks, but I couldn't just pick them up in front of everyone, so I just left them. During this time, I would spend nights at my close friend's house, staying up late playing video games and watching movies. His brother's room was in the basement, and we would occasionally go down to find a game or a movie that he might have taken down. His mom was a teacher, and their laundry was in the basement, so there would from time to time be pantyhose hanging on the line. This was one of the rare times that I actually took her pantyhose for my own. With my stash under my mattress fading from snags and tears, I would go through spurts of purging. I would toss all the pantyhose and then a couple of days later regret it. This happened a few times in my life, but mostly in my teenage years. Part 3, dating. Let's face it, a young high school age man that has a pantyhose fetish isn't something a girl that age would find appealing. Women generally don't like pantyhose. This was a tough pill for me to swallow. It wasn't easy for me to just come right out and say that I liked pantyhose. I would wait a month or two into a relationship and casually bring it up. It was about 50-50 for me to be able to get a girlfriend to wear pantyhose. The more patient I was, the easier it was to convince a girlfriend to wear pantyhose. I had one moving home from college. She would eventually become my wife. At this point, my fetish was progressing. I was wearing regularly beneath my clothes, of course. Being able to drive and work, I was able to buy my own pantyhose. My curiosity had gotten the best of me, and I broke down and purchased my own heels. Okay. So, right there, we'll cut it off, and we'll have part 2 later in the week. Or maybe beginning of next week. But either way, interesting. I can get totally where the appeal comes from, the feel of the nylon and the silk pantyhose. But coming from a generation where I was brought up to wear pantyhose under a dress, anytime you had a dress on, you had pantyhose on. It was just automatic. You didn't think about it. There was no convincing. You did it. And being that I went to a Catholic school, yeah, your good old Abby was a Catholic school girl. You know about those girls. Anyway, and if you don't, the stories you may have heard, they're true. Anyway, I get back to what I was saying. Yeah, being that I went to Catholic school, we had to wear, like, my mom would not let me walk out of the house without having pantyhose on under my uniform. That just was a big fat no-no. And I can remember having dress pants, because we were allowed to wear dress pants with our uniform. Of course, they had to be uniform pants, and flat shoes. And I still, if I wore like flat dress shoes, I had to have the pantyhose on even under the pants. That was just like the thing. Mom made you do it. And I remember, you're right, most women hate them. I remember hating them, especially if you're a curvy or thick woman, and you have thick thighs, yeah, yeah, those don't work. Yeah. It wasn't till later on, probably after I got out of high school, that I was working on my own and doing my own thing, that I was allowed to buy thigh high stockings. Those are a little more thick thighed, thick girl friendly, if you know what I'm saying. No, not so much there rubbing between. Yeah, anyway. TMI, right? TMI, Abby, TMI. Anyway, um, interesting. I like the innovative idea too of putting them on under the football uniform to keep warm. Gotta give it to mom for being creative. Um, I will say that. Um, but that is all I have. Part one of my pantyhose story. Don't forget to look out for part two. Tell me what you guys think. Do you have this? Do you wear pantyhose? I can tell you right now, unless it's thigh highs, I don't. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed. We will see you soon. Bye, everybody.